Let's talk about these plant-based kitchen essentials. Welcome back to the Whole Food Plant-Based Cooking Show, where we make plant-based cooking easy. I'm Jill, and today, instead of a recipe, we are going to be talking about kitchen essentials. And this doesn't make a difference if you've just become plant-based or if you've been plant-based for a while. These are some of the things that we have had in our kitchen for many, many years, and these are the things that we use the most. But even if you're just starting out, don't freak out. You don't have to get all of these things. It's not necessary. I would probably, at least start with a NutriBullet, which I will I'll explain about each thing and why we have it and what kind it is. But if you're just starting out, I would suggest NutriBullet. Get yourself a good knife and maybe a pan. Maybe the Instapot. If you're, find it on sale somewhere, it's a great appliance. So I'm going to start over here with our handy dandy food processor. This is a Cuisinart. I believe it's a 13 cup. I've had it for like 8 or 9 years, so I don't even remember. I'm not even completely sure that this model is available anymore, but we have all of this stuff in our Amazon store, if you go on our website and check that out. And I got a comparable one of these, something that's similar in size and the functions. I absolutely love it. This thing is more for making like some of my baked goods, crackers, things like that need a more powerful machine that don't have very much liquid in them. If they have more liquid, then your blenders are going to do fine, but things that don't have as much liquid, you're going to need a food processor, or even a smaller one if it's just you and your spouse. So this is a great, great tool to have. Next, we have our NutriBullet. I am a huge fan of the NutriBullet because it is so practical. I use this probably the most out of all of our appliances because we make a lot of salad dressings, a lot of frostings for my delicious desserts, grinding oats for flour. I mean, you name it. This got making our blends for our ice creams. It's just a great all-around machine. It's very affordable. This one is the NutriBullet Pro, and I believe it's either the 1100 watt or the 1200 watt. I'm not even sure what they're up to now. They just keep upping the game. But really, the 900 or the 1000 watt will do just fine. They're powerful enough to do any of the sauces or salad dressings. It really does a great job. Next, we're going to talk about a good pan. So Jeff and I both find ourselves, when we reach for our pan, even though we have the full set of the all-clad, these are all-clads, which really, you buy them once, you'll never, ever have to replace it. We've had this for like 10 years. Indestructible. You're not going to be replacing them like, if you're into getting the non-stick stuff or the ceramic stuff, you're going to be replacing those every few years, and they're not very safe. That's my personal opinion. But these guys, stainless steel, no, they're not non-stick, but if you treat them right and you learn how to cook and saute using just water, they're perfect. I just love them. So at least get yourself one pan, kind of a deeper pan, so that you can do a little amount, or you can do ones that are more like for your casserole type of fillings, where you're going to have a lot more vegetables in there. This will cover it. Next is a chef's knife. This is a bad boy. This is a great, great knife that a company sent to us. It's a fancy schmancy thing. You don't need anything this high tech, but just a good chef's knife that has this wider blade. It's a little bit bigger and has a nice healthy grip to it because you're going to be chopping up bigger vegetables. You don't want to be using some little paring knife or just a smaller, shorter knife. This is going to really help you. They're a lot sharper, get the job done quicker and easier. It's really great. All right, now for the Instant Pot. This is an 8-quart, but we're a family of 4. So they make 6-quart, and I think they make one that's a little bit smaller than that even. That's plenty. That's good enough size. We just have the 8-quart because we're feeding more people. These are great for soups or stews. Jeff likes to make his weekly oat groats in this guy. So he starts out and makes a big pot of oat groats, and then we do sweet potatoes in here too. So we have that already made for the week. So these are so great. Put your stuff in there, pick your setting, and forget it. it takes care of everything. You don't have to babysit it on the, on the stovetop. They're really, really a great tool. And they always have great deals on them, especially coming up toward the holiday season. You're going to be able to get these for a really great deal. Then last but not least, we have this big monster blender here. This is a Blendtec Professional. We got this when we were living in an apartment. We got it with the silent case because we lived in an apartment and the walls are very thin, and these bigger, powerful, more powerful blenders are really loud. So we thought, just as a courtesy to our neighbors, we would get the one with a case just so we wouldn't drive everybody crazy. But really, you could just get the basic Blendtec or Vitamix. They both work equally well. There's just benefits to each of them in different ways. Like the Blendtec, the blade is blunt, so that when you're scraping out things with your spatula, it's not going to keep gouging that spatula, or if you're washing it, you're not going to be afraid to cut yourself. But because of the silent case, it doesn't have the tamper tool that the Vitamix does to keep things moving around. So it's kind of a learning curve. You just have to learn how to use it to get that, that suction going so it keeps moving. But it's a super powerful machine. I'm really happy with it. And the same, we've had this for probably about 8 years. So it's a great investment. The jugs, they get a little cloudy and scraped up after a while. You might have to replace a jug occasionally, like once every few years, but they're pretty affordable to replace. That's the same with this, the NutriBullets. These, you might have to get yourself a couple sets of these. And the blades, after about, it depends on how much you use it, but we're daily users. So this blade lasts about a year, but to replace the blade, it's like $13 or something. So it's very, very minimal cost to keep these guys running. All right, so that's it for our appliances. So I'm gonna get this stuff out of here and then we'll talk about ingredients. While we're waiting for that, I'd like to share some background on our show. The Whole Food Plant-Based Cooking Show is crowd-funded, which means these free weekly recipe videos, along with our entire catalog of free printable recipes on our website, plantbasedcookingshow.com, and our Plant-Based Cooking Made Easy cookbook series, are all made possible in part by the generous patronage of our supporting membership community. So if you love our recipes, I invite you to join us on our mission to make plant-based cooking easy, and follow the link in the description to become a supporting member today. There's no denying the plant-based diet is a nutrient powerhouse, but did you know there are a handful of hard-to-get nutrients even well-crafted diets are often lacking? The latest research suggests that complementing your diet with a few specific vitamins, minerals, and omega-3s will help boost your energy and keep you thriving for the long term. That's why my daily health routine includes Complement Essential. Complement Essential contains the 8 critical nutrients lacking from most plant-based diets in dosages optimized specifically for us. As a special discount for our viewers, just use code PLANTBASEDEASY at checkout to save 15% off of your order. I almost forgot to tell you that every month we give away an appliance like these or something similar in our membership program. So if you become a supporting member, you get to go in the drawing for that month's giveaway. And it's random every month. Now onto the ingredients. All right, so now we're onto the ingredients. And yes, this may look like kind of a lot, but these are things that we use probably the most of. So I like to try to keep these always on stock. So it's whenever we think of making one of our delicious recipes, we know we have the base ingredients for it. And then you might have to just, buy your produce on top of that. But this is the stuff that, if you've made any of my recipes before, you may be familiar with some of these, already have some of these, hopefully. All right, so I'm gonna start over here. Cocoa powder, this isn't the one I usually use, but like I said, we use it so much, we're out, so this is another one. But if you've watched the show, we are chocoholics, so we have to have cocoa powder in the house, which reminds me I have to order some more. Okay, then we have oat groats in this great big bag, and rolled oats, because this is something that we use so much of, it's better to buy it in bulk. So we buy this from this company, which we'll have a link to our website, which will tell you all of these ingredients. And these oats I just get from Whole Foods in the really big tub, and then I just keep them in here. And we always try to get organic, and now there's certain brands that will say glyphosate free, because that's become an issue with oats. So, or if you're gluten-free, you'll have to buy the specific gluten-free oats, which usually are from Bob's Red Mill. Then we go on to our tamari. This is a low sodium tamari. It's got 50% less sodium because all of our recipes are low sodium recipes. So this is a great one. It's a salt replacement. We use this a lot. And if we don't use this, if we aren't cooking it a lot, then you can go for the dark miso or light miso. This is also low sodium, and your body digests the sodium better because it's a fermented product, but that's also for that salty flavor. Then we have almond flour, and that kind of goes along with my oats. All of my baked goods, the main base is oats that are ground into a flour and almond flour. So I always have that on hand. My handy dandy Aldi store always has this in stock, along with medjool dates. Our Aldi has medjool dates, and this package, this is a 1 pound package that they have for, it's I think $5. So affordable. If I can't get these, I get the Deglet dates from Whole Foods, and they're pretty affordable too. And this is our sweetener for all of our baked goods. And salad dressings, anything that needs just a hint of sweetness, I always use dates. I don't use maple syrup or any kind of refined sugars. Dates are a whole food full of delicious and wonderful healthy fiber. Okay, on to our vegetable broth. I love the Pacific brand of vegetable broth because it's low in sodium and there's no oil. If you look at most vegetable broths, they have oil in there, so we don't use oil in our cooking, so this is a great brand. And this one I get at just my local Harris Teeter or Kroger, which Kroger is Harris Teeter now. And then soy milk. This is West Soy unsweetened soy milk, which is just soybeans and water. We like to use this because of that fact, that it's just soybeans and water. If you look at most of the plant-based milks that are out there, they're full of all kinds of fillers and oils and emulsifiers and that kind of stuff, which you don't really want in there. This is going to give you just a really clean, you know, very minimal ingredient soy milk. Organic white wine vinegar. I use this in almost all of my salad dressings, and a lot of my main meals has just a little bit of vinegar too. I like this better than apple cider vinegar. It's just got a milder flavor. I think it's more pleasant, and you can detect it less, but it gives you that tanginess that some dishes really need. Vanilla. I love to bake, and I love our desserts, and almost all of our desserts have vanilla. So go ahead and find yourself a good quality vanilla. This comes from Whole Foods. It really, even if you go to Whole Foods or you go to your local grocery store, they're all about the same price, you know, depending on the quality. Vanilla, unfortunately, is an expensive product, so you can't really get around that one, but you do need vanilla. This is buckwheat flour, because instead of making whole wheat breads and stuff like that, we rely on buckwheat. We have a wonderful buckwheat bread recipe that a lot of people have tried and just love it. We love it too, and try to always have a loaf in the refrigerator. And buckwheat, if you know anything about buckwheat, it's not a wheat at all. It's gluten-free. Buckwheat is actually a seed. It's not in the wheat family. I'm not sure why they called it wheat, but it's a little confusing. Then we have our Butler soy curls. These are magical. If you have never tried these, you need to order yourself some and try them out. All it is soybeans and water, the same as this, maybe just a different, you know, quantity of soybean, or ratio of soybean and water. It's just dehydrated. They're these little crunchy things that you have to rehydrate. So I usually put them in some vegetable broth and let them soak for about a half an hour before I add them to a dish, or I spice them with any of the different flavorings. But these are amazing. It really gives you that feel, kind of, you know, like if you're missing meat or missing chicken, this is the way to go. Or if you're feeding people that aren't vegan, this is great. This will fool just about anybody. If it's in like fajitas or a casserole, they're never gonna know. Then I have cashews. I use a lot of cashews because a lot of my desserts, the frostings, contain cashews or almonds. but mainly cashews, my salad dressings, all of that kind of stuff. That makes that really creamy sauces, like your cheese sauce too. It has cashews in it. So I try to buy these in bulk from the same company here. I just put them in a smaller container so that they're more accessible in my fridge. Then nutritional yeast. You either love it or you hate it. We absolutely love it, and I think it gives a great depth of flavor to many dishes, especially if you're making a cheese sauce or something that has a cheese topping to it. It gives you that kind of buttery, rich flavor. They're great. This is a new company we're trying out. So far, so good. But you know, whatever nutritional yeast you like. But it's a great one to have in your kitchen. And then last but not least, I have some spices here. Now the spices that we use the most, which are smoked paprika and onion powder, we buy in bulk. And we buy from Frontier Spices because you can get them in 1-pound bags, and they're organic, or most of them are organic, and it's very affordable. And then I just keep refilling my little containers here, so I can just keep this in the cabinet. But we go through so much of it, it's really worth buying in a bulk, because I think this was like $18 for this package. And just a container like this was, I think, $6 or $7. So, I mean, I could probably fill this 10 times at least for $18. That's just an amazing deal. So there it is. Now you have your essentials going, and you're ready to go check out our recipes using these ingredients, and you'll be on your way to a healthy plant-based diet.